Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today we are going to talk about the February 2025 tentative calendar. This is the very first version of this calendar. It does change multiple times throughout the month. Most of the time it's just featured heroes, but there will be events and certain summons and portals that do get added into this calendar throughout the course of the month. So this is definitely not a final version of what the month of February is going to look like, but this is going to give us a very good indication of what to expect in the month of February. So we are going to go week by week, talk about the events, the portals, the summons, talk about which portals you should be pulling from and which ones you should not be pulling from. We've got some exciting stuff like Fated Summon Refresh and Soul Exchange coming out in February, so we'll talk about that when we get there. And I do also want to give a big shout out and thank you to Elioti and Berkshire for putting this information together. Between the two of them, with the information from Elioti and Berkshire putting together the graphics for this calendar, that is how we have this information here. So they do this every single month. Thank you very much for what you both do for the community. It is greatly appreciated. And real quick before we get started, if you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and turn that notification bell on so you can be alerted of when I drop new content. So this video will be going out on Friday, January 31st. So by then, we would have already ended most of the stuff for this week. So Untold Tales 2 would have been over already. The Tremors of Underwild would have been over already as well. And the pickup summon would have also ended as well. But we do have a couple things that we're going to be in the middle of right now when this video goes live, with the War of Three Kingdoms heroes and the Astral Plane events both going on at that same time. And we also had the Lunar New Year start on the 27th, and that's going to go through February 13th. So we have a few weeks to get those challenge quests done, and if you're going to be using your summon coins to do your pulls for that, then you have some time to decide if you're going to do that. Personally, I am saving onto my coins. The green healer Zhao seems pretty good, but honestly, I don't even know if I would level him up over Chloris, who is my next green healer that I would level up. And then Baishu just seems a little too niche. Could be good for Equalizer War, but the way her special works, it definitely is a little different, based on the fact that it will steal all buffs from the enemies and randomly distribute them on your allies, and then any ailments that are on your allies, it'll randomly distribute them on the enemies. But if there are no buffs, then 200% damage happens to all, and if there's no ailments on you, then also 200% damage happens to all. Baishu is fast mana speed, so you could try to time it so that you fire Baishu after Equalizer goes off in Equalizer War, and she would do essentially 400% damage to all enemies. But honestly, 400% damage at this point right now in the game is really not that uncommon. And again, it's a little too risky. I mean, the lifting of ailments and distributing them, and lifting of buffs and redistributing them on your allies is kind of cool, I guess, depending on how you use her. But for me, I'm going to save my summon coins for another event. And we've got our monthly Ascension summon going on right now. There is a legendary troop portal summon for Saturday the 1st through Monday the 3rd. And the Legends portal is going to start on Sunday the 2nd as well. Now, as far as portals that you should or should not do summons with for this week, I mean, we're already going to be at the end of the week. The Untold Tales 2 portal would have been a good one to do. Personally, I'm not really a fan of the Astral Plane portal just because of the odds being so low. I think it's like 0.5% for regular 5-star heroes and 0.4% for featured 5-star heroes, or maybe reverse. You do get 2 of them if you are able to pull one. So that's definitely cool, but unless if you're going to do a lot of pulls, I'd probably stay away from that, except for your free pulls that you get from doing the challenges. The War of Three Kingdoms portal is definitely a very good portal. We do have the new costume at Liu Bei. Definitely a strong costume. Everybody loves costumes Zhu Liang, and then costume Cao Cao is also really good. So definitely 3 good featured heroes, and if you don't have any of them, then that could definitely be a good option for you, especially if you already have any of them maxed from their base level version. And today, Friday the 31st, we do have the Ranger Masterclass quest, along with the Monk and Cleric regular class quest on Sunday the 2nd. Moving on to the following week, Monday the 3rd, we have Fated Summon Refresh happening. I actually did a video about a week or two ago with a ranking of all 20 Fated Summons that are going to be coming out, going from worst to first. There are definitely some really good options. Check out that video if you haven't already. I will pin a comment with a link to that video below. On the 3rd, we've also got a new Mythic Titan. This is going to be a red Mythic Titan. So get your Grimsteels out. He is already very, very useful for Mythic Titans, and he's only going to be more useful because of the fact that Ifrit is the red Mythic Titan. The Tavern of Legends that started the day before on the 2nd, honestly, really nothing special. Definitely do not spend anything on getting extra pulls for the Tavern of Legends. We've got no new heroes and no new costumes for any old Hero of the Month heroes. I really, really wish we would get new costumes for the old Heroes of the Month, but we haven't seen one in quite some time. Lazarus is good, but again, if you're going to buy pulls, don't buy the Tavern of Legends ones. But we do also have Untold Tales 1 coming back on Monday the 3rd as well. So the 3rd's a pretty busy day with the new Fated Summon coming out, Mythic Titan, so everybody's going to be busy with that. And then Untold Tales 1 is definitely one of my favorite portals. And we have Costume Spartoy coming out. I actually have him maxed, so I would love to pull Costume Spartoy. We've also got Persa and Domi Ventus featured this time around. Domi Ventus is extremely good. Persa's probably a little mid when it comes to the Untold Tales 1 costumes, but remember, the Untold Tales 1 heroes with the costume do get the passive to resist Insanity, so keep that in mind if you're able to pull any of those costume heroes. On the 4th, we do have the Treasure Quest legendary version of the Holy variant coming out. So that's just a quest to do. On the 5th, we've got the monthly Ether Summon coming out, and we've also got the Yellow Limit Breaker Omega quest on Wednesday the 5th as well. So that's always something you do not want to miss to get your free Limit Break materials. And the Owl Tower on the 5th as well. We might have a new Owl with Pertinax, but we don't know yet. Right now, it's just showing Fulvia, Relius, and Timaeus. So I would probably expect that we're going to get a new Owl. It's been a while since we've gotten one. It's actually been a little while since we've had the Owl Tower because we've been having the Ninja Tower, so definitely curious to see what that looks like. And I actually missed the Tuesday the 4th with the Ancient Underroot. You are probably asking yourself, what is Ancient Underroot? I was certainly asking myself that when I was looking at the calendar, but obviously these are dragons for the Dragon Portal. This is basically going to be the first like promotional or seasonal or whatever you want to call it type of summon portal for the Dragonspire spin-off of Empires and Puzzles. Personally, I have not spent anything on dragons since they came out. I would not recommend it. We may eventually start seeing dragons incorporated in player versus player, but we haven't heard anything about that, and I don't think it's been talked about in beta yet. So I'll have to wait and see what that looks like, but until we hear anything that it is definitely coming, I would definitely not be spending anything on the Dragonspire event. So you can maybe pull something if they give us a quest or something like that to get some free coins, but I would not recommend doing any additional pulls with gems or anything like that. On Thursday the 6th, we do have the monthly Shadows of the Deep portal coming back with one new hero, Penelope, and then we've also got Hunter and Omen as other featured heroes. Omen is considered to be one of the better Shadows of the Deep portal heroes, so this could be a portal to pull on from this week. The odds are a little bit lower than some of the other portals, and the gem cost is much higher also, so keep that in mind as well. Personally, for me, out of all of the portals for this week, I'm probably only going to do pulls on the Untold Tales 1 costumes, hoping that I can get Spartoa. I was lucky enough to get Domi Ventus last time around, so I've already got him, but I definitely want Costume Spartoa if I can. So we will see what that looks like. I may do like a shorts video or something like that with the polls that I do for Untold Tales 1 when that comes out on Monday or Tuesday maybe. We'll see how the week goes, but I am definitely planning on doing Untold Tales 1 polls. I am trying to build up my arsenal of heroes that resist Insanity. I've only got Isidore from the Woodland Fawn family, but for costume Untold Tales 1 heroes maxed, I do have Gestalt, and I've got costume Medea, and I've got costume Galapago. So I've got 4 total heroes that resist Insanity, and right now I'm working on the costume and regular version of Thalassa and then Domi Ventus as well. Hoping that I can add Spartoy to the mix. We will find out next week. Other stuff we have going on this week is the Rogue Masterclass event on Friday the 7th, and then the regular class quest for Druid and Ranger on Sunday the 9th. This week, we are going to be in Ancient Terror War on the 5th and the 9th. So if you are able to pull any Untold Tales 1 heroes with their costumes, you may want to try to level them up quickly if you have the resource to do so. Or if you've already got one of the heroes and you get their costume, then you definitely want to try to level that costume up if you can. And one other thing I did want to mention is that Untold Tales 1 is supposed to have new costumes for Sharkai and Jaco coming out this week as well. So expect to see them in that portal with their costumes. Definitely curious to see if those are going to resist Insanity. I don't recall seeing any information if they will or they won't. And these are going to be the first 4-star and 3-star heroes that get costumes for Untold Tales. So definitely curious to see what that looks like. And moving on to the following week, we don't have a lot at all going on in the beginning of the week, really up until Wednesday. We start off with Atlantis Rises on Monday the 10th and Tuesday the 11th, which honestly, I'm not too upset that there's nothing else going on. That way I can spend some time doing some auto farming and building up some resources during Farm Atlantis, as many of us call it, or Matlantis, as other people call it. On Tuesday the 11th, we do have the Costume Chamber coming back with currently Isarnia and Leonidas as the featured heroes. I never was able to pull Isarnia's Toon costume, so hopefully I can pull Isarnia this time around. We'll have to wait and see. I do have Toon Leonidas, so adding his glass costumes bonus would definitely be pretty cool. On Thursday the 13th, we have Beowulf's Challenge. This is a new challenge quest where we're going to have 3 new featured heroes, Beowulf, Egtheow, and Modthrith. Not sure I pronounced either the second or third ones correctly, but we are probably also going to see Hrothgar in this portal as well, I would assume, and Wealhtheow. So curious to see what that challenge quest looks like. That could definitely be a good portal to pull from. And then on Friday the 14th, we've got 3 events. We've got the Seasons of Love, which is the new seasonal event that's going to be going on, where we have 2 new heroes, Anteros and Dogrum. Probably pronounced those wrong also, sorry about that. And of course, we'll see some repeat heroes in there, like Cupido and some of the other previous heroes. I really wish they would give a costume to some of those Seasons of Love heroes. A Cupido costume honestly would be pretty fire in my opinion. And then we've also got the Valhalla event on Friday the 14th. I would definitely not recommend spending any gems on that portal. We've got the Goblin Village with currently Kolya and Frostsnout as the featured heroes. This may change though. There may be a new hero. They may mix them up. This is what just showing right now, so that is likely gonna change. During this week, we will be in Rush War, so definitely keep that in mind and prepare any of your slow heroes that you are leveling up already. On Wednesday the 12th, we do have the Mount Umber challenge, so you can get your free rings. We've got the Rogue and Sorcerer class quests. On Friday the 14th, we've got the Monk Master class quest. And then on Sunday the 16th, we've got Paladin and Monk, the regular class quest for those. As far as portals that you should be pulling from, again, definitely don't do Valhalla or Atlantis Rises. There's nothing special there. Tethys is pretty good from the Atlantis Rises, but definitely not worth spending any gems on. I'd probably look at either Costume Chamber or Beowulf's Challenge. Those are probably the 2 best portals this week. I personally don't like pulling goblins anymore. I've got, some goblins, but the pull rates on them are just way too low. You have to do way too many pulls unless if you're able to get lucky. So I would shy away from doing goblin pulls except for your free goblin coins that you're going to get from the challenge quests. But definitely curious to see what these new Beowulf's Challenge heroes look like. Moving on to the following week, we have quite a few things starting off the week on Monday the 17th with the Contest of Elements, Judgment of Dunes, and the Treasure Quest, which is going to be the Covenant or Super variant. Contest of Elements is currently showing Crom and Desmond. I would probably expect those to change though, so keep that in mind. Judgment of Dunes is showing a new costume Kepri and repeats of El Nadaha and Bennu. So honestly, the Judgment of Dunes Season 5 costumes are pretty good because of the 100% passive, but these are probably 3 of the lesser desired ones, except maybe El Nadaha. She's actually pretty good, but Bennu and Kepri I don't think are that great in my opinion compared to some of the other Season 5 heroes. I really want to see an Esset costume. I've already got Esset Max. I haven't used her in forever because her stats are outdated, but once we do get a costume for Esset, I'm going to be doing some pulls for the Judgment of Dunes. Definitely not going to be doing any this time around. Depending on who the actual featured hero for Contests of Elements is, I may or may not do pulls there, but honestly, I'm probably only going to do my free pulls for that. And then we've got the Ancient Underroot back again on Tuesday the 18th. Again, this is just for Dragonspire, so keep that in mind. I would not spend any gems on that unless if you're really, really into Dragonspire. Most of the people I've talked to aren't really into it, but if you are, then, you know, good for you if you enjoy it. On the 19th, we've got Shrikewood back, so you can get your free tonic. We've also got the Barbarian and Fighter class quest. On Friday the 21st, we've got the Master class quest for Barbarian. And then we've got Cleric and Druid regular class quest on Sunday the 23rd. And we've also got Night of the Moth coming back on Thursday the 20th. This is an Alliance quest. This is where Mega Fiend heroes are featured, Mordowitch is one of them. Santa Pimentor is a hero that does not give Mega Fiends, and Chunky Roy is a healer. It also does say to be determined on here, so I would expect this to change. We're probably going to see at least one, maybe two more new Night of the Moth heroes, so I would probably expect Santa Pimentor to be featured since they were not featured last time around, and then two new featured heroes for Night of the Moth. We've already seen Mordowitch and Chunky Roy featured, so I would expect that Santa Pimentor and two new ones probably will be featured this time around. So we'll have to wait and see what the two new ones look like. But that is a great portal. The odds are not great, unfortunately. They're 1%, I believe, is what the pull rate percentage was or something like that, which is definitely better than the Goblins and Astral Plane portals. It's similar to the Owl portal, though. I think that one also has like a 1% pull rate. So definitely keep that in mind. As far as portals that I am planning on doing some pulls maybe this week, probably Night of the Moth. We'll have to see what the two new featured heroes look like, but I might spend some gems on that and see if we can get lucky with that portal. During this week, we will be in Undead Horde War, or Minion Wars as some people call it. Actually pretty excited because I recently double limit broke and added masterclass emblems to the costume of Galapagos, so he is probably going to see some time on defense the week before in Ancient Terror since he resists Insanity, and then also for this war because of his effect to be able to remove minions. And moving on to our last week of the month, the 24th through the beginning of March through March 2nd, there should be an Untold Tales 2 portal starting the day before on Sunday the 23rd. We'll have one more day of the Night of the Moth Alliance quest, and then we've got Tremors of the Underwild starting on Monday the 24th as well. So we're kind of at the point where none of the featured heroes are really known at this point. It's showing Regin, and Gander, which are all great heroes, but I can guarantee you that most, if not all, of those heroes are probably going to change. We might see one more new one and then probably two repeat ones. I would love to pull Ott, but Ott was actually just featured in the last one, so I would probably expect to not see him in the next featured Untold Tales 2 portal. Tremors of Underwild is definitely one to stay away from. Don't spend any gems on that and do not buy any pulls for that. We've got Monster Island finally coming back on the 27th. This is kind of one of those things where I will believe it when I see it because I feel like we've been told about this coming back. So I really, really hope that this does come back. This is one of the most fun Alliance events in my opinion. It usually goes by pretty quick. It's only around for a couple days, but this is a lot of fun. If you don't know anything about Monster Island, just do some Google searches for Empires and Puzzles, Monster Island, or look up a YouTube video. I haven't done one myself on it, but it is a lot of fun, and we're going to get probably 2, maybe 3 brand new great heroes. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. I will probably have a video around when that event comes out, kind of showing, you know, what that event looks like and what the new summons are for that event. Then we've also got the Astral Plane coming back on the 27th. This is another one. It says to be determined. I definitely would not expect that these two heroes, Salanus and Quarry, will be featured. They've already been featured. We're probably going to see at least one brand new one and then another repeat one. And Quarry is actually currently featured in the Astral Plane event right now, so he probably definitely won't be featured again. And I think the thing that everybody is probably most excited for is Soul Exchange finally coming back on the 28th. I think we were all kind of hoping it was going to be either toward the end of January or maybe the beginning of February. We're going to have to wait a couple more weeks, unfortunately, but it is coming back. We do not know who the heroes are going to be in Soul Exchange yet. It's probably going to be at least another couple weeks before we find out that information. So I will definitely have a ranking video out for Soul Exchange once we find out about who those heroes are. So definitely be on the lookout for that. If you are unaware of what Soul Exchange is, it is an opportunity to get rid of some of the 5-star heroes that you have on your roster that you don't want, that you haven't leveled up already, that you just have kind of sitting on your roster. And you're going to have the option to exchange either 10 5-star heroes, 15 5-star heroes, or 20 5-star heroes for one hero. So there will be 15 total heroes that you can choose from. One of each color in the 10 hero exchange option, one of each color in the 15 exchange option, and one of each color in the 20 exchange option. You can only do one. You cannot do one of each tier. You can only choose one hero. You cannot do multiple, like I said, but you are essentially potentially giving up 20 5-star heroes for one hero. For some people, this is really worth it, but for many people, especially ones that play at a very high level, it's not really worth it. A lot of people do soul exchange and then never level up that hero. So have a plan. When we find out who the heroes are, definitely start thinking about who you're going to get. And if you've already got the mats for a specific color, try not to spend them on a different one unless if you have a hero that's even better than who you could get in soul exchange. But like I said, I will have a video once we find out who those soul exchange heroes are. Couple other smaller things real quick here. On the 26th, we've got two things: the class quest for Wizard and Sorcerer, and then your opportunity to get a free scope. On the 28th, we've got the Fighter Master class quest, and on the 2nd, we've got the Paladin Ranger regular class quest. This week, we will be in the Lucky Strike, or Cloverfield War, I think it's called. So that one is definitely kind of fun, but also a little nerve-wracking. Definitely one of the luckier, so to speak, war types that we have in the game right now. So out of all of the portals that we have this month, if I were to pick 3 portals that I would pull and that I'm probably going to pull for this month, I think for me, number 1 is Untold Tales 1, the Costume Smartoy and Costume Domiventus being featured in that portal. Both really, really good heroes. If you don't have them already, then those would be great additions to your roster. Costume Purse would also be a good addition, but the other two, definitely top tier level in my opinion. And then the Costume Chamber. I've always loved the Costume Chamber. The Season 1 heroes are always relevant because of the costume bonuses that they have. And if you can get one of those glass costumes, those heroes make it up to like 1550 or 1560 total individual power. That is crazy. One thing that you will never have to worry about with tunes and glass costumes and stuff like that with the Season 1 heroes is that they will always be relevant because of new costumes coming out every single year, it seems like, for these Season 1 heroes. I kind of wish they would start bringing out second costumes for like the Season 2 heroes, and then Season 3 and 4 as well, as where we've had the costumes for those for quite some time. They're still introducing the first costumes for Season 5, so obviously that wouldn't really be effective. But Seasons 2, 3, 4, I feel like really need a way to be relevant again, and a second costume with an increased costume bonus would definitely be a great way to do that. And then Night of the Moth is the third portal that I would definitely consider. We don't know who the featured heroes are going to be for that yet, but I can guarantee you they are going to be very good. And if you can get any of those Mega Fiend heroes, then you are going to be in really good shape. I actually pulled Grovert, who I am currently leveling up. I need one more tonic to ascend him, and definitely excited to try him out once I'm able to. So those are the 3 portals that I would recommend doing pulls for. Right behind them would probably be the challenge quest with the Beowulf challenge, but we don't know what those heroes look like, so it's hard to recommend pulling that, but that could be really good. And then the Untold Tales 2 heroes, those are extremely good. Their passives are really good with the corrosive burn that they do to all enemies, and they're all very, very hard hitters. And then Ott is a really good healer in that portal also. So that is what the month of February looks like right now. I would definitely expect a couple things to be added. The Wilderness Summon is usually something that gets added after the fact, so I would definitely expect that to happen at some point this month. And then also the Covenant Summon or Covenant Portal is not featured anywhere in here, and that usually comes every single month as well. So I would definitely expect those 2 portals to come out, and those are really good portals to pull from as well. Let me know what you all are planning to do this month, but that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it or found it helpful. And if you did, hit that like button, make sure you sub to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.